Hey you guys, welcome back to Lisa and Company. I am so glad you could stop by today. Today is a crazy video. I went a little nuts here. You guys have really enjoyed the dollar store three-way DIYs I've been doing, so I went a little trippy and you're getting dollar store three ways, but almost everything I did is double-sided, which means you are getting two for the price of one, which means I'm exhausted, which means I need to stop talking, which means we need to get started. So what does three ways look like today? Well, it looks like a large bunny, a small bunny, some carrots, and some eggs. You don't end up getting those little eggs with the ears. Oh my goodness, I way overcommitted. There was just not enough time to add those in. So first up, I'm doing the baby bunnies, and I've already gone ahead and sanded and painted a couple of these because we don't want to bore you rigid. You do not need to see me paint bunnies over and over and over again. So you guys are just going to see the fun part today. So first up, I'm just going to take one of these white painted bunnies and put a really cute little buffalo plaid bow on there. On the flip side of this bunny, he's going to get a black and white polka dot ribbon, and that's left over from our mystery box challenge the other day. I hope you saw that video, and if you didn't, I'm going to link it below so you can check it out. It was so much fun. 5 leases of YouTube, 5 mystery boxes. Oh my goodness, the creativity was an overload. For my neutral bunny, I saw this last year on YouTube. I want to say it came from Kirkland's or something like that in the States, and I've wanted to create him ever since. So when I saw these little guys at the dollar store, I knew they were perfect for what I wanted to do. All I'm doing is a tiny little bit of white paint on the end of a flat and new unused eraser, otherwise it's going to be all misshapen, and I am randomly dotting them all over my bunny. I made sure I took a couple over the edge so they weren't all in the center of the bunny, and I think this one came out super cute. For my blue bunny, I am using this gingham napkin from the dollar store. I believe I've used these ones before. I'm going to check back because I think when we did our blue and white collab in the fall, we used these napkins. Of course, this is for my mom, and anything blue and white will do. I just put a thin coat, a very even thin coat of Mod Podge on here. I'm going to spread the napkin very, very gently with my fingers, and then I'm going to do the top coat, concentrating on the edges so that I can just tear away the napkin. Now, when it's dry, afterwards, and I'm going to give it probably an hour or so, I'm just going to go back with a nail file and clean up the edges. Now for the other side of this bunny, I have left him completely white, but I'm going to make a really cute small bow out of my blue and white baker's twine from Dollar Tree, just by wrapping it around my fingers a few times and leaving a couple of tails. And just like that, my baby bunnies are done. My black and white one, my neutral one got just a little bow, which actually came off one of these bunnies, and my blue and white one are all ready to go. Next up, it's the big bunnies, and I'm going to go through and prep them all first. I did scrape off all the little details on them. Some of them came off better than others. They do need to be sanded because they are a little rough. Just like with the baby bunnies, I have gone ahead and done a little prep work. One of them is painted black, one has been left completely neutral because he's getting a special treatment, and I have painted one blue and readied it for another one of these napkin DIYs. Nothing you haven't seen here before, and nice light even coat of Mod Podge. I'm going to place my napkin on top and then do another coat of Mod Podge over that and do the same, tear away at the edges and go back with my nail file at the end. You guys, this system really works out well for me. I find trying to trim it with any other implement just tears at the tissue paper. A little bit different if you have a thicker medium you're working with, and stay tuned because we're absolutely doing that. Now the other side of my bunny, I am leaving plain blue, and I took one of the carrots that was actually on these bunnies, put a little bit of the napkin on him, and I'm going to glue that on just as soon as it's dry. Now, my neutral bunny, yes, we are playing with the book pages again, and you guys, if you didn't see the video with the book page vintage bunnies, go and watch it. It is absolutely one of my favorites, and I think it is for you guys too. So I'm just tearing up a few more pages of Pride and Prejudice. I used this book so that I wouldn't have anything untowards on the Mod Podge, if you know what I mean. I know some of you do because you mentioned it in the comments on the last one, and yes, that is exactly why I used Pride and Prejudice. Nothing offensive here. We're going to Mod Podge those pages on, and then the other side of this bunny is getting the coolest treatment. Now when this is all dry, all I will do is flip it over and trim those extra book pages off. Again, I find it so much easier to use oh my goodness, a sharp X-Acto knife to trim this off once it's dry. For the other side, I used washi tape on a diagonal stripe and then a makeup sponge to sponge on some white acrylic paint. Again, this one goes really, really well with that little polka dot one, and I'm sure it was a dupe from last year's Easter stuff at Kirkland's. For the last large bunny, the one side is black and the other side I am using one of these Dollar Tree tea towels. Now this is what I was talking about with using something thicker to Mod Podge. I am going to trim this off and figure out exactly where I want that plaid crossover stripe to sit on my bunny, and then I'm going to put down a much thicker coat of Mod Podge because it's got to soak right through that fabric and hold it onto the bunny. Once it's done, I will put another heavy coat over that, and then we will trim it off at the back just like we're doing on the book page one. Because of that thick coat of Mod Podge, this bunny is going to take the longest to dry, and I'm actually going to leave him overnight before I come back and trim him off. That Mod Podge gets nice and stiff and allows my sharp X-Acto knife to do a really good job trimming it off from the other side. Okay, are you still with me? We are big bunnies and little bunnies all done. So that means it's time to move on to carrots and eggs, and we are moving right along in this theme. We're going to do a nice neutral one, a black and white farmhouse one, and of course the blue and white. And I don't have to tell you guys, well, unless you're new here, the blue and white is for my mom. She is crazy about anything blue and white, and that napkin that you keep seeing has been used on many, many projects for her. If you hop back a few videos, you'll see the tiered tray I made for her. Basically, if you see blue and white on Lisa & Company, it's for my mom. These carrots are getting the blue and white Dollar Tree twine treatment. They came out really, really well. The only thing I would say is I might have painted them underneath. The second one is getting the white Dollar Tree twine, and the third one is going to get Mod Podged with that beautiful toile napkin. Now that one I was smart enough to go ahead and paint underneath, and it made a huge difference. So I gave it a really good coat of the white chalked paint, let that dry, and then Mod Podged the blue and white napkin over top. For the farmhouse carrots, I'm going to use the rest of my tea towel. I have this black and white buffalo plaid wine bottle holder, some black and white twine, and we are going to make a really interesting carrot using one of these cones from the Dollar Tree. I'm just trimming it down so it's a bit more carrot shaped. I'm going to wrap it in a piece of that tea towel, and we are just going to pop a little bit of greenery right in the top by shoving it right into the cone. I love the way this one came out. I did add a little bit of the black and white twine at the top just to kind of pull them all together. For this one, I literally cut it corner to corner, glued it together in the shape of a carrot, stuffed it with some stuffing I have from an old pillow, and make sure you get it right down into the point. I didn't do the best job of that, and I'm going to add a different greenery in the top of this one. I've used all kinds of leftover scrap greenery on these, and I think they look really cool. This one is really different. It's made from some leftover electrical conduit. I actually got this from a friend of mine who's an electrician, and I hope he sees that I finally used it. Work really carefully with this. It is sharp. I actually put hot glue on some of the sharp edges so that I wouldn't cut myself. Gloves would not be a bad idea. So all I did was twist it a little bit narrower at the bottom, wider at the top, and added some of the Dollar Tree onion grass to finish it off. Now it's time for our set of neutral carrots, and first up we are going to Mod Podge, yep, you guessed it, one of the Pride and Prejudice book pages right onto our carrot. So I had already trimmed up a piece so it was kind of a partial cylinder so I could roll my carrot in it. Just added a little bit of Mod Podge on the top and the bottom, kind of squeezed it a little bit to make it conform to the carrot shape, and this one was done. I have to tell you, Mod Podging these carrots is A, fun, B, quick, and oh my goodness, I need to do more like this. I need to go find like a whole bunch of napkins, and well, I'm gonna have to find a whole bunch of carrots first if I want to do that. This one is getting the twine treatment, and no rocket science here. I've put a dab of glue at the bottom, waited till it had cooled down, and then I am just going to wrap with this thicker 4-ply twine. Every once in a while I put a dab of glue just to make sure that it would stay in place, and when I got to the top I finished it off with kind of a bit more glue and tucked the end right in. I am glad I used the thicker twine. The thin one is so hard to wrap around these, and I love that chunky textural look that it has. Since you guys enjoyed those Jenga block DIYs so much, I figured we could probably make a carrot. So I messed around with it, and that's all you have to do with these Jenga blocks until I had what I felt like was a good shape for a carrot. And I definitely slowed this one down so you could get a better idea of what it looked like. I'm just going to use a little tiny bit of hot glue to put these together. I'm not worried. It's not going to take any abuse, so I didn't bother breaking out the wood glue for this one. Once I had it all stacked up and assembled, I'm going to give it a little bit of that watered down paint that I have left over. I'm going to use one of those Dollar Tree diaper wipes to rub it all in because I really want to see the wood grain, but I really wanted it to have a lighter, springy Easter look. Of course, it wouldn't be a carrot without some greenery at the top, and I just decided to take a little bit of that 4-ply twine, wrap it around just to make it a little bit thicker and more substantial so I could glue it to the top of these. The other option would have been to get out the drill and drill a little hole into the wood blocks and tuck the greenery right in. Now, my kids are beyond this, and I may be dating myself, but I feel like this looks like a Minecraft carrot. Minecraft, not Minecraft. Minecraft carrot. Thoughts, anyone? So I had kind of a happy accident when I painted these eggs as well. I needed to do them outside, and I kind of put them in the tray and rolled them around while I sprayed them. And it created this really cool mottled look on a whole bunch of the eggs. So I am going to work with that. I actually love it. And of course, what are the chances that I'd be able to recreate that anyway? The first eggs are getting another one of those beautiful napkins, and you can see how we are creating sets of decor here. So I'm going to do 3 like that. I'm going to leave 3 with the mottled finish, but I'm going to give those ones just a little something in terms of embellishment. I've had so much fun with the button bag that I couldn't really leave it out on these ones, right? But before I do that, I am going to speckle them just a tiny bit. I didn't go crazy on these ones, and my paint was a little bit thicker than last time, but I was trying to not get it everywhere and not have to hang the big old plastic sheet to do it. Now that these guys are dry, it's time for a little bit of embellishment. My first one is going to get a little bit of the blue and white baker's twine, and then one of these really pretty, almost Easter dress type white buttons that I found in the button bag. Oh my goodness, I'm having so much fun with these. And you know what the crazy thing is? Half these buttons have never been used before. This one, I love the way the speckle and that mottled paint came out. So this one's just getting a button, and the last one is getting a little bit of the white twine with a button right on it. And again, I hope you can see how these sets are starting to come together, and I hope you're getting excited for the reveal where we put all these sets together. My black painted eggs came out exactly the same with that really neat mottled finish, so we are going to work with that too. I am simply going to use a little bit of the buffalo plaid ribbon on a couple of these. I am going to trim it down and make it a little bit thinner just so it fits around the middle a bit better, and then we're going to have some fun with some buttons and some twine and some Dollar Tree ribbon and all kinds of fun stuff. Are you still with me? We are almost there. It's time to finish off our neutral eggs. I have one left of these vintage bunny printouts from a couple of videos ago. So I am going to Mod Podge this with book pages, add that little vintage bunny, and this one's going to be done really quick. Really messy, really sticky fingers, but really quick. This one is getting wrapped with that 4-ply twine, and I just love how chunky it is. I may actually add a couple more of these because I'm really enjoying how they came out. I am going to give it a button at the end, just like I've given a whole bunch of these. And somewhere along the way, that last egg that you can see sitting there in the tray, well, that one just got a little twine around his middle and a matching button, but I have no idea what happened to the footage for those. All right, you guys, the time is finally here. Are you excited to see your 6 large bunnies, 6 baby bunnies, a whole bunch of carrots and eggs? Because I am really excited to show it to you. And I'm kind of tired. Why don't we just get this done and check it out? What do you think of that tea towel bunny with his matching baby bunny and all these great carrots and eggs? I am loving all the textures and patterns. It was so much fun to put this together, and look number 2 is just as striking. I ended up giving the black bunny a really pretty white paper flower. For my blue and white ones, well, I know my mom is gonna love these ones. Something tells me she might be putting in a request for some more eggs. We'll see. But that look number 1, I'm in love with. And in the other side, I just love how simple it is. And I love that I was able to use the leftover carrot from the original bunny. And I am loving this neutral set. These go along so well with the vintage black and white bunnies I did a few videos back. I just love, again, the textures that came together here. I'm loving those vintage book pages. And the other side of that bunny, well, I am so excited that I was able to recreate something I saw last year on YouTube from Kirkland's. As always, you guys, thank you so much for stopping by Lisa and Company. Make sure you check out these other videos. Please come over and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget to give this a comment, a like, and a share. Thanks again, you guys. I am so grateful for every one of you.